Bum ba da bum 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 bum. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy here. Andy with a cold here, joining you for another Christmas live stream. For those of you who maybe don't have anyone to hang out with over the holiday season, maybe you got some questions, you want a little bit of free coaching, maybe you just want to share your wins. We are here, we are live, and maybe you would like to see this cool, no spoilers, cup of noodles. Look at this. Emmy sent this picture. Emmy, my girlfriend, is traveling right now, and she's in, I believe, Taipei right now. And she sent me this cool little picture of noodles with a cat on it. So I loved that. And while we wait for some of you to start dropping your questions and sharing your wins and all of that, I've shared some of these over the last couple of weeks or days or whatever. And this is part of what was sent to me in an email from a guy who had started approaching and observed and learned a bunch of different things. And he wrote me this really long email full of lots of wisdom, and I've been slowly reading out bits of them throughout the last couple of weeks. So he says, the number seven thing that he learned from approaching women is let go of the things you cannot control. Yeah, and this can be a little bit of a challenge, kind of, for basically every human being on the planet, including me. It's self-explanatory. Generally, it's easier to do if you're moving. It's harder to be in a funk with your head held high on a brisk walk. So go do that until the emotional intensity of your negative feelings subside, and then refocus on what you can control. Yeah, if you walk up to some woman, you say, "Hi, little missy, you're cute. You want to go on a date with me?" And she's like, "No, I don't." You can't control that. You can't force her to say yes. You can't be like, "Fuck, like, can I have a redo?" No, it's done. What you can control is what you do next, which is you say, "Hey, have a beautiful day. All the best." You go talk to the next person. Or if you're really emotional, you go sit down for a little bit and chill, talk to some friends, you hang out with other people so you feel a bit better. But you focus on the shit that you can do, I see a lot of people, some of you in the chat sometimes, ask these questions of like, I'm stuck in this mindset, or I'm stuck with this, or it's hopeless, or it's too late for me, or I've missed out on my 20s and it's hopeless, blah, blah, blah. Stop, calm the fuck down, and focus on what you can control. Don't worry about the hopelessness. Don't worry about the doubts or the fears or the insecurities. Get to work. Take the next tiny little baby step that you can take and move forward, as this guy said. So I love this one. Maybe we'll do one more. Number 8, the first victory of the day makes a glorious day full of victories possible. Yes, this is why I tell all of you, focus on tiny little baby steps. He says, approach a pretty woman as soon as you possibly can, or whatever your goal might be. Take a little tiny baby step as soon as you possibly can. Start the day off with a victory. Get a win on the board for the day ASAP. If you tell yourself the story that today is going to be a good day and manage to positively reinforce that conclusively and quickly, then guess what? You almost always have a good day. Yeah, and lots of the time people will wake up, and maybe some of you have done this. I've certainly done this. You wake up and you go, ugh, today's going to suck. And guess what? Today fucking sucks because you said it would. And you don't do the things that you would do if you were going to make it a great day. And so we say something, we cast that spell, and then it happens. But if you wake up and say today's going to be a good day, then guess what? It will be. Mr. Phoenix says, I'm going to miss the beginning, but how many outfits minimum do I need for 6 to 8 good profile pictures? Why do you need 6 to 8 good profile pictures? Why don't you start with 1 okay profile picture? Are you, my friend, and I already know the answer to this, are you trying to do too much too quickly? Are you trying to run before you can crawl? Phoenix, take 1 decent picture and then take a second decent picture. If you're wearing the same outfit in every picture, that's fine. That means they suck, and then you slowly improve at them. You are going to suck at this at the start. You do not need to go out and buy 8 outfits and take 8 good profile pictures. You might not even be capable of that yet. Go out there with your 1 or 2 outfits, take 1 or 2 okay pictures, and then go take a whole lot more. A lot of you, and this is a really good example, like, thank you for asking this question, Phoenix, because you're a perfect example of this. A lot of you put all this pressure on yourself to like do everything all at once and be perfect and do a good job. It's like, your mission is not to do a good job. My first profile pictures, like my first Tinder profile that I set up, I got literally 0 matches. Like literally 0 matches because they were awful. And then I took better pictures and slowly got a 1 match, but she wasn't what I was looking for. Then another match. Like, this is a numbers game. and you're putting insane pressure on yourself to do it all at once, I wrote an article called How to Take Better Tinder Pictures. And the very first thing I say is, well, get a decent camera. Although these days you can kind of get away with having a decent, Android or Apple phone, like iPhone. Most phones are pretty decent. I still prefer a proper DSLR or mirrorless, but it's not as mandatory. But step 1 or step 2, go take 1,000 photos of just anything so you can get better at taking photos, including yourself, by the way. And then just take 100 photos, and then go take 100 more, and then go take more, and then take more, and then just repeat this. Like, this is how you get good photos. You're probably not going to do it the first time. You might fluke it, but you're probably not going to. So give yourself permission to suck. Just go out there in your 1 or 2 okay outfits and slowly improve your outfits over time. Slowly add 1 outfit to your wardrobe when you can afford it. If I remember correctly, you don't have a ton of money. I think we've had that discussion. So you're probably not in the position to go and buy 8 good outfits. Like, that's just pressure, dude. And a lot of your questions, I think, are you just trying to run before you've walked? Like, take that baby step, bro. Like, go out there and take 1 okay, like, literally grab your fucking phone right now, hold it up to your face and go, click. Cool. That's a photo. Put that on Tinder. It's probably not going to be very good. It's probably going to break all the rules and all of that I say in taking good pictures, but that's okay. That's where you start. And then you put your phone up against something and then stand back a little bit and take a slightly better photo. And then you go outside so it doesn't look so crappy because it's inside. And then you go somewhere fancy and take a photo there. And then maybe you buy a nice camera one day, or maybe you pay a photographer. But get to that point, dude. Like, upgrade to that. But yeah, I promise you, you don't need to know. You do not need to have a whole bunch of great outfits right now. Just start with where you're at and move forward, right? And further on this, I already kind of hinted at this, but you don't need to do 6 to 8 good profile pictures. Start with 1. On Tinder, you can start a profile with, I believe, 1 photo. I would aim for 3. So have in your mind, I will make 3 okay photos, and I'll start with that. You probably won't get many matches. You might not get any at all. Cool. That's where I started. Slowly upgrade over time. And on Hinge, you need 6 to start with. So just go take 6 okay photos, and then cool. I've got a Hinge profile. Now I've started. But I promise you don't have to be perfect, dude. I'm reading everything you're saying. You say, yesterday I got triggered because I committed to this plan of working outside the USA before I knew how long it would take. I wanted to live in that city and work that job, but still, if my visa application is not accepted, I will have lost 18 months for nothing. 2 things I can say to this. You would have lost 18 months for nothing. Is that true? Like, play around with that concept, that I've lost the last 18 months. And then second of all, even if you accept the premise, I've lost 18 months, what are you going to do about it? So play around with those 2 ideas. Like, I've lost 18 months. Cool. Great. Okay. What am I going to do about it? Bro, I went to prison for 6 months. Do you know how easy it would be to say, I lost the last 6 months of my life? Did I say that? No. Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, went to Auschwitz, the Nazi death camp, for 3.5 years. Everybody around him died. All of his friends and family died. He didn't achieve much of anything while he was in there because he couldn't, because he was in a Nazi death camp for 3.5 years. Did he say, I've lost 3.5 years? No. As soon as he got out, he wrote a book about it. Within 9 days, he sat down and in 9 days busted his ass and wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning, which is one of the most famous books on not being a victim and all of this. So I understand the feeling of I've lost 18 months. The next question I will say to you is, what are you going to do about it? What comes next? Stop looking at the past, brother. The past is gone. What are you going to do right now? Rishav says, yo, 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 everyone. I added a few extra yos in there, Mr. Rishav, because I was feeling festive. You say, did you watch the movie? But that wasn't the mission, brother. The mission was baby steps. Did I watch a minute of the movie? I actually watched 3. So I watched 3 minutes of your movie. Yes, I did. I watched the first 3 movies, and I went and found a couple of, I specifically looked up on YouTube, does this movie have dance scenes and like singing and music? Yes, it does. And then I watched a couple of those. So I didn't get any spoilers. I don't actually fully still know what the movie's about, so I didn't spoil anything. But yes, I watched a couple of the dance scenes. You know what's hilarious is past Andy would have mocked me so much for loving like dance scenes and musical and like Bollywood and all of that, because I used to hate that shit. I could not stand that. I don't know. At some point, my cold heart melted and I started to love that stuff. And if someone else doesn't love that, fair enough. But Yeah, brother, I love like Bollywood dance scenes and shit like that. I don't know why I like it. I think because it's so over the top and they just don't give a fuck. Like, they've just fully embraced, I don't really care if this is over the top. Let's just go hard. So I really love that. That probably just comes from the culture with like weddings and shit like that anyway. Brandon, making a joke, but you were definitely not the first person to comment on today's live stream, my friend. That would be Phoenix, who is often first. Chad is often first too. And Rishav is often there early. I was there before. So it's like you're like fourth at best, Brandon. And now fourth is still very special. Fourth is the very first winner after first, second, and third. You're the first winner after the three of us. That's really good. You won. After the three of us won, you then were the next in line to win. So you won. You're a winner. You did a great job. Really good job. Expert cheek clapper. Well, you know I got a lot to say about this, sir. Like, it says, hello, Dad. I, my beautiful friend, am not your dad. But hello, how you doing? How's it going? Rishav says, yeah, it's gotten dance scenes. Most of Bollywood's got it because it's more of a theatrical. We also have a very serious no music movies as well. Yeah, I'm interested, Rishav. What is, maybe we're getting a little off topic from self-improvement here, but whatever. What are, I don't know a lot of Bollywood movies. Like I've watched maybe, I don't know, like honestly, probably only 10 or 15. Like what sort of stuff do you have? Like, and how much do you know about Western movies? Like, do you watch a lot of like Hollywood? Do you watch a lot of Western movies? Something that we in the West or Hollywood, I guess, are obsessed with right now is like action movies and like Marvel movies. I know you guys watch those movies over there. They do really well over there. But yeah, tell me what other like Indian area movies that you watch, because I've seen a couple of like Sri Lankan movies as well in Pakistan and stuff like that. But like that area, what kind of movies do you guys watch? What kind of movies do you guys have? And while you're typing that, guys, dump your questions in the chat. Use me for coaching. Milk me. I am here to be your coach for free. Ask me your questions. Tell me what you're struggling with, and let's get to work. And while I wait for you guys to drop those questions, maybe I'll share one or two more of the lessons that guy learned from doing a bunch of approaches while I wait for you guys to drop your comments. All right, number 9 lesson, find a way to make the grind exciting. So this applies to pretty much any goal, like basically any goal that you have. You're going to be putting in some work. Like there might be moments where you're like going to the gym for the like 3rd time that week and you don't really hit any PRs and it's nothing amazing and it's just doing the work. And at the start, it was very exciting because you were going to the gym. It was new. You were scared. You were nervous. But now you're just going to the gym because that's what you do. And there's a period where it might not be super fun unless you make it fun. Same with approaching. At the start, you're nervous, you're terrified, anxiety. Can I even do this? Oh my God. What if she gives me a bad reaction? What if she likes me? What if she loves me? Ah, fuck. And you're so hyper emotional. You do it for a while. And then there's a period where it's almost, I won't say boring, but it's not novel and new and exciting anymore. And you're also not nervous anymore. You're just doing it. It's almost like a job. And if you can find ways to make that bit really fun, then the meaning sticks around. Like you still find meaning in it. It's enjoyable. It brings you a lot of joy and peace. And it's this habit that you just do every day and you eventually get the results. So it's really, really, really fun, but you have to make it fun. Lots of people say this thing is a grind, or this is awful, or this is boring, or this is hard, or this is difficult. This sucks. Why am I not getting the stuff that I want? Why am I not getting the results that I want? It's because you're not making it fun. So he goes on to say, when the initial anxiety of approaching women starts to fall off, but you still aren't particularly confident that you can get into a doldrum area where talking to women feels like a grind. Gamify it. Yeah, make it fun. Like find ways to make this a game. Like how many women can I talk to in the next 10 minutes? Okay, how quickly can I talk to a woman? Can I try saying different stuff to women? What if I just walk up with a big smile on my face and I don't say anything and I wave at her? Can I get a woman's phone number without saying a single word? Like literally, and that's possible. I've done that. You just write down shit on your phone. Just say like, hi, I don't want to talk because I thought it would be more fun to tell a girl that she's pretty without talking. And then you show her the phone. And then she'll be like, oh, you think I'm pretty? Thank you. And then you hand her the phone and she has to type something. Like I've done that on like a public train as well. When I'm too embarrassed to say, hey, you're pretty in front of like everyone, I just type something, hi, you're pretty. And I'm too shy to say it out loud because everyone will hear. Do you want to talk for a bit? And then I'll hand her the phone and then she'll write like, yes, or she'll do thumbs up. And then I'll go, what's your name? And then she'll say her name and I'm like, and then she has to type her name. So you can have fun with this stuff. You can find ways to make this stuff really fun. As he goes on to say, you can come up with little challenges like the number of women that you hit on, locations, what she's doing. Like you hit on a woman who's listening to music, hit on a woman who's meditating, hit on a woman who's eating lunch and ask her if you can join her and have lunch with her. Like all these different situations that might make you nervous at first. And so they're a fun little challenge for you to overcome. You know, what she looks like. Yeah, I used to be very intimidated by women that were very, very, very hot. And that would really freak me out. I was intimidated by different cultures that maybe I didn't have a lot of experience with, like Asian women at first. I was intimidated by girls that were with their friends, like whatever it might be that you're intimidated by. Women that were smoking used to like intimidate me. We all have our own little intimidations and things we're scared of. So pushing yourself in those challenges can make it fun. Women in pairs or groups, set yourself mini challenges to improve your abilities and keep it interesting. If you always approach women in the street, move to grocery stores or malls and vice versa, things like that. Yeah, that's a nice one. There's ways to make this stuff really fun and not have it be so damn serious and so damn much of a grind. And this applies to business too. Like constantly be upgrading your business, constantly upgrading what you're doing, constantly upgrading how much fun you have with people, and allowing yourself, like all of this, everything he just wrote and everything I'm saying, is you basically giving yourself permission to not call it a grind. Like it doesn't have to be a grind. It's allowed to be fun, but it can be hard to like wrap our head around that stuff. Rishav, still talking about Bollywood, my friend. And to be fair, I started this conversation about Bollywood. Says, how do you like the first 3 minutes? Yeah, decent so far. I think you'll love the whole movie. Maybe, yeah, I probably will. I can't guarantee I'll watch it. Like I said, I got like a million other movies on the list, but I've already started watching it. So that gets me one step closer to watching the full thing, doesn't it? You say, for some reason, I'm intimidated by women who smoke weed, not cigarettes. Yeah, isn't it funny, dude, how we all have our own, like at the start, our own little triggers and things that make us nervous. And if any of you happen to start a business, and you can if you want to, you don't have to, but if you do start a business, you realize you have the same triggers with like coaching clients or customers or whatever. And even when I work just a normal job, like lots of you that work a normal job, if you're dealing with customers or clients, you'll see that certain people trigger you, like you're nervous around them or you don't know how to help them. Like when I was younger, I used to work in a lot of retail stores like supermarkets and Target and stuff like that. And people that would come in with a suit would really intimidate me. If someone was like, looked like a lawyer or an accountant or something like that, I'd get intimidated. Like, they're not a different person. It's just some dude in a suit and he looks really cool. Like, great suit, bro. It's a great suit. But like, I would get really nervous. I don't know why. I just had expectations. And so same thing with women. Yeah, I used to get so intimidated by women that were smoking a cigarette. And so the way that I worked through that was, I'm sure you can guess, just go and hit on like 10 women that are smoking. And I was so scared. I don't know why. I thought they were cool. I thought they'd be like edgy and not be nice to me and all of that. And after the first couple, they were really nice. And I was like, oh, these women are nice to me. I used to be really intimidated by women who had tattoos because I didn't have tattoos when I first started this stuff. And I'm sure you can imagine, hit on 5 or 10 of them, and they're all really nice. They're just human beings. They just have some fucking tattoos. That doesn't make them different. But I went and hit on a bunch of them, and I was like, oh, they're nice. They're just people. And so I had all these weird fears, guys. I had like fears of grocery stores, like supermarkets. That was like one of my biggest fears. Like I didn't do anything inside any grocery store because I was like, but people are shopping and people are all around and it's weird. And what if I get kicked out and blah, blah, blah. I didn't do it in like clothing stores because I was like, but the staff will hear me and they'll kick me out and I'll get in trouble and all of that. I had all of these sort of like triggers. I struggled in escalators, like, you know, you're going up like the escalator or going down the escalator. I couldn't talk to people on those. I was like, it's weird. Like, what do we do when we get to the end of the escalator? Like, literally, that was my big fear. I was like, what do I do when I get off the escalator? Like, what do we do? And it's like, you get off the escalator with her. What do you mean? But I was terrified. I was like, do I get off first or does she get off first? Or like, do we both get off together? But what if she goes that way and I'm going that way? Like, oh, what do I do? And it's like, it doesn't matter. What do you mean? It doesn't matter. Like, do it 5 times and you realize how silly that fear was or how meaningless that fear was, how much of an illusion that fear was. So we all have our own fears when it comes to talking to people, like in general, just talking to people. I think especially if we're going to be talking about hitting on the opposite gender or people that you're interested in, yeah, there's a lot of fear around that. Fears around going to bars and clubs. What if I don't have any friends there? What if I don't know what I'm doing? What if people think I'm a loser? There's a lot of fear in business. I was intimidated by, like, I had my own triggers in business. One of them was people that were older than me. And so I remember the first time, like, I started coaching when I was what, like, I don't know, 31, 30, no, not that far back. God, that's way too far back. Like 33, roughly. And so anyone that was older than that, I had a couple of clients that were like in their late 30s. I was so intimidated. I did so much like work before those calls. And I literally put like fucking 10 hours of like thinking about what I was going to say to them and how do I do a perfect, like just overthinking it. And then I'd get on the call and congratulations, it's just a normal human being sitting in front of you. But I was nervous, I was scared like all of you get. And so it's okay to be that way. We just embrace our fears and run towards them. I remember the first time I worked with someone who was older than 50, over 50. That intimidated me. The first time I coached a woman really intimidated me. The first time I coached a couple, like a man and a woman who were in a relationship, that really intimidated me. And they had been together for 10 years. And here was me and Emmy only been together for like 5 years. I didn't feel qualified to talk about that. So that was a trigger. And yeah, there's been all these sort of like fears and doubts. The first time I ever had someone be mad at me in the coaching, which to be fair has only ever happened like twice, ever. Like I've only ever really had two people like snap back at me and say, you're wrong, like shut the fuck up, you don't know what you're talking about. And that threw me for a loop. That was like my biggest fear is like, what if one of my clients gets angry or something at me in the coaching program? And it was fine. We just talked about it. I gave him some space, came back the next day. I was like, bro, look, I know you're upset. I know you're not in a good way, but I get that you're feeling emotions, but if you snap at your coach, it's a lot harder for me to help you, bro. Like you affect my mindset if you're going to literally scream at me and yell at me and get angry. Like it makes it harder for me to help you. And I want to help you, bro. I love you. And he was like, I'm sorry, I know. So it was fine. It was literally fine. It was like literally fine. But that was a big trigger. So it's funny that we have all these big fears. And then when they come true, it's like, oh, it's fine. Like that's the answer every time. Like Buddhism has this quote that I love, and so does David Hawkins. All fear is illusion. Like your fears almost never come true in the way that you think they will. Byron Katie has a quote, reality is much kinder than our stories about it. Epictetus has a quote, we suffer much more in imagination than in reality. So we have these big fears. Then when they come true, you're upset for a while, you're sad, you cry, you're hurt, maybe you're angry for a couple of weeks, and then you're like, it's okay, it's fine. So we can speed run getting to that point of when it feels like it's okay. But yeah, I completely get this, Rishav. Brother, I understand being triggered by like weird shit and being like, I'm intimidated by people that smoke weed or have tattoos or look different to me or are taller than me. That's something that intimidates a lot of people. So yeah. Brandon says, I would imagine I'd walk on eggshells then with girls that I'm dating in my school, scared that a girl would see me hanging out with another. Yeah, it's funny how we have stuff like that. I used to have that too, bro. I was like here was my big fear. What if I'm dating multiple girls and I'm with one of them, like in public, walking around, and then I happen to bump into another one of them? That was my biggest fear. And I had been honest and said, like, look, I'm seeing other people, but I was still terrified of that happening. And it did happen one time, and I was awkward as hell. Both girls were fine. They were okay. I was the weird one. I was the one that was acting like I'd done something wrong, even though I'd been honest with both of them and told both of them, I'm seeing other people, by the way. And they were like, yeah, cool, thanks, like, great. So yeah, sometimes we're terrified of this thing happening. And Brandon, I was walking around on eggshells, like literally, dude, I was paranoid for a year or two. Every time I would leave the house with a girl, like if she was like, let's go get ice cream or let's go sit in a park, I would say yes, but the whole time I'd be like looking around going like, okay, just make sure there's like no one that I know out here, like any of my friends. I was scared of my friends seeing me with girls, which is hilarious now, but I was terrified of that. I felt weird about what I was doing, and I was being honest and upfront about everything, but I wasn't comfortable with the idea of casual sex. Like I really wasn't. I didn't start out comfortable with this stuff. So I was terrified that my friends would see me with a girl, and guess what? They did. And they were like, hey, who's this? And I was like, oh, this is like Sarah. and like we're dating, we're seeing each other. And then my friend was like, oh, cool, nice to meet you, Sarah, and like shook her hand. She was like, nice to meet you too. Like, what are you doing today? And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing today. Help. Somebody help. I'm awkward and nervous. Help. And then we just left, and that was it. Like, nothing bad happened. And my friend didn't say anything afterwards. It was just normal. And then eventually that happened more times. And then I saw my friends with people that they were sleeping with. And I was like, oh, it's cool. It's chill. It's fine. It's normal. And then at some point I would invite girls that I was sleeping with to hang out with me and my friends. And that was a big barrier that I had. I was like, you can't do that. You can't mix. Like if someone's casual, they're not allowed to meet your friends. Like this weird fucking rule that I had. But I eventually moved past that and it was fine. Like everything's fine. But it's funny that we have these big fears. Look at you talking about tags. Yeah, Rishav says, for me, you feel like you're not cool enough to do that. So I guess you're talking about weed and your intimidation around people that smoke weed. You feel like you're not cool enough to do that. And you feel like you're intimidated by women who are chill like that. Yeah, I get that, man. I used to have the same thing. So I had all these fears of like, am I good enough to be cool? Like my biggest insecurity was not so much my looks, although it was that actually, so that's not true. I was very insecure about my looks, but like even more than that was my status as a human being, whatever the fuck that means, but that's how I thought of it. And I was on a forum called the Good Looking Loser Forums, and lots of guys on there were bodybuilders and they were very attractive, and some of them were going out there talking to girls and having a good time. And they were younger than me. I was like one of the oldest people on those forums. I joined when I was 28. And by the time I really got, stuck into it, I was like 29. And I literally was terrified that they were going to kick me off the forums because I wasn't cool enough. Like literally, I would wake up every day terrified of this. I wasn't chill. I wasn't cool. The same stuff you've written, Rishav. And there were a couple of times when the website was down, like the website was not very stable. It would break all the time. And there was one time when I mistyped my password. I think I had caps lock key on or something. And every time that would happen, like the website would break or I would mistype my password, I was like, yep, see, I knew it. They banned my account. I'm a loser. They figured it out. I fucking knew this would happen. Oh my God, I knew it. And then, no, I just typed my password in wrong. I'd retype it in, I'm in. And everyone's like, hey, Andy, like, good job today, bro. Keep it up. And I was like, yeah, man. So I felt like I was keeping this mask for the first maybe 2 years of being there, honestly. Like keeping up this mask of like, I promise I'm not a loser. Like, please don't kick me off here. And like everyone was nice. No one was going to kick me off. I eventually became the freaking moderator of those forums. Even then, at first, when I was the moderator, I felt like a fraud. I was like, nah, this is the moment that someone's going to like, I don't know, do research into me or some shit. Like research my backstory and be like, yo, this guy's a fucking loser. Like he shouldn't be a moderator. I was so convinced that I wasn't good enough to be there. And I definitely was convinced that I wasn't good enough to tell women that they're cute. I really struggled with that. Like I really, really, really struggled with that. I had breakdowns. I was like, I can make women laugh. I can walk up to them and tell dumb jokes. I can say the most insane shit and make them giggle. But if you ask me to tell them, hi, I'm Andy, I think you're cute, I can't do that. You're asking too much of me. You asked me to be real and to be vulnerable, and I can't do that. I can do stupid shit and literally look like a retard in public and make them laugh because that's not really me. That's me just being an idiot. That's not the actual, real, authentic me. But if you ask me to walk up and be my authentic self and just be honest and say, I think you're cute, I'd like to take you out on a date. I had a breakdown when I first got to that point of the approach anxiety program where it said, all right, walk up to women and tell them that they're cute. I had a breakdown. I walked around for like 2 days and I couldn't do it. I was literally like having panic attack and shit. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. If you tell me to walk up and flail my hands in the air and be like, hi, I'm a big retard. I'm a big retard. I can do that. If you ask me to walk up to a girl and like fucking make a fart sound, I can't do a fart sound, but if you make me walk up and do that, I can do that. If you make me walk up to her and cluck like a chicken, I can do that. But if you ask me to walk up and tell her that she's cute and be real and be honest and risk that rejection, I've opened my heart up to her and she could attack me. I struggled with that. So I understand that a lot of you struggle with vulnerability and honesty and just walking up to a girl and just being fucking honest and saying, yo, I find you pretty. Do you want to go on a date with me? Like, I get why that's terrifying because it was for me. And I get why a lot of you say to me, what's the perfect pickup line? Because you're trying to like put up this mask, like I was, by making jokes, and jokes are fine. Humor is great. But like, I was telling jokes literally so I didn't have to be vulnerable. I was trying to make women laugh so I could just pretend that I was just being that happy, cool, funny person. And I wasn't actually being honest. So yeah, man, I get that. Like, I really get that. David Feliciado, what a name, Santos, says, hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. David. How you going? Phoenix, I'm back. What did I miss? We answered a little bit of your question, so just like watch the live stream back maybe for the first 10 minutes and you'll see that. You said, I checked out Girlfriend Guide for Guys. So that's a channel that we mentioned yesterday. I believe, I forgot who, it wasn't obvious throwaway. It was one, it's going to come to me. Anyway, someone else mentioned it. It's going to come to me in a second who mentioned it. And I checked her channel out. We liked her channel, or I liked her channel. You said, I'm not sure who her coaching is for. I wouldn't mind someone like her as a partner, though. Her coaching is for men, and her channel is for men, as far as I can tell. Maybe some caveats to add there. I do not in any way endorse her coaching at all. I also do not endorse her entire channel. I have not watched it all. I know nothing about her coaching, but if you're interested, you can go and check her coaching out and check her videos out and see if you like her. But yeah, I had a quick glance through some of her videos. I watched like 3 of her videos and I was like, damn, like, yeah, she says a lot of similar stuff to what we talk about. And she seems to have her heart in the right place and her head seems to be screwed on. She is the first person to tell you that she is not an expert in dating. She literally says that in video. She's like, I'm single. I don't know what I'm doing with dating, but I care. And so I think she's someone that genuinely very deeply cares about other people. And for some reason, she's focused on men to help. And yeah, that can help. So I guess something you can take away from her stuff is she has a channel with a couple of thousand subscribers and she gets, lots of views and comments, and some of her videos do as well or better than some of mine. And so she's helping a lot of people. She's not the expert, and she makes that clear. She's honest and upfront about that. And a lot of you ask me questions on like, Phoenix, your question at the start of this call when you were away was like, how do I basically have a really great profile? How do I be an expert at having a profile? It's like, you don't need to be. You just start by sucking and you slowly improve. And that's what her channel is, especially with business. So many people say to me, how do I have the perfect business plan? How do I know exactly what I'm going to sell? How do I make sure I have a good product? It's like, what the fuck has anyone bought what you're offering yet? No. Then why are you worrying about having a good product? Go get someone to pay you $1 or work for free so you can get some testimonials, which is what I did at the start. Go do some shit for free or for like $1 or $5. And then you'll get some testimonials. You'll get some feedback. You'll know how to improve. Like, it's an iterative process building a business or a product. There are some exceptions to that, but they're rare. The vast majority of people suck at the start and they need feedback to improve. You don't know what to improve. Part of how you get that feedback is you have a open line of communication with the people that you're giving it to or selling it to or providing it for. They tell you, hey, bro, I love this. I think it would be better if you did this. Or, hey, dude, I'll be honest, I didn't really like that. And you're like, oh, shit, okay, what didn't you like? And they're like, well, I feel like I didn't like this and this and this. And if you have enough people telling you the same thing, maybe that's something to improve. And so, yeah, she's a really, really, really good example of not being an expert at something, but still being humble enough to say, I'm not the expert. I'm going to tell you that very clearly. And she does. I don't have to be perfect, but I care. And maybe I can help you a tiny bit. And that's how I started. Guys, I was not an expert when I started this channel or my blog, which was the first thing that I started. I wasn't an expert. I said that in articles. Literally, my idea was my only mission is to help people move forward a little bit. Like, I don't need to be the expert and get people to my level. That's almost trying to do too much at once. The only thing that matters when it comes to business or anything like that is, can I help the person move one step forward? If I can, they will pay me some amount of money for that. Obviously, if you can help them move forward a lot more, then they will pay you a lot more, which is why my coaching costs $11,000. But when I started, I was charging, like I said, I did a couple for free and a couple were like, I think $5 or $10 for like several hours of me coaching and writing notes and helping them and sending a follow-up email and all of that. So I'd put several hours of coaching into someone for like $5 or $10. And so start small, because back then I didn't think I could change someone's life. I hadn't. Like I'd only done my life and Imi's life. That was it. Like 2 people. I'd only really positively affected 2 people. I'd coached people like on the forums, like I'd helped people on the forums, but I really didn't believe in my ability to change people's lives. So I just charged a tiny bit of money. And as I got more confidence, as I got more testimonials, as I actually had proof that I could help more people, then the price slowly went up, and it's been going up and probably still will keep going up. You know, it's been going up for the last 5 years or however long I've been doing this. So she's a great example of not needing to be perfect before you get started. Just fucking go in there and give yourself permission to suck, and at least just fucking try. Do we play? Says hello. Well, hello to you too, my friend. What else we got? Phoenix says Rishav. Okay, Phoenix. Pause. I'm going to say this in a nice way. Don't give dating advice. I'll just say that. Like, give motivation and support. And I get that you're trying to help. And maybe I sounded a little bit combative there. But like, if you haven't done something yourself, I know it can be hard to resist because you're trying to help. And that's a beautiful thing, Phoenix. This is so beautiful what you're doing here. But pause and try not to give specific advice on something you haven't done, because it just murks the water and muddies the water. I would actually give the opposite advice of what you've said here. Like, I would not be spinning yourself as cool on the apps. Yes, put your best foot forward. Yes, try and look as cool as you can and all of that and work on yourself. But that can often stray for a lot of people into catfishing. You feel like a fraud. You take these amazing pictures, you look cool as hell, and then you're like, this isn't me though, because I don't have the actual confidence to back it up. So maybe I was a little harsh there. I wasn't trying to be, brother. Like, what you've done here is beautiful. You're trying to give someone motivation. Just keep giving motivation. I guess what? I will add in caveats if I see you saying something where I think I would actually say the opposite. What I would say is, Rishav, give yourself permission to suck. Take some decent pictures, work on taking better pictures every single day, week, month, and year, slowly upgrade them over time, and just start going on some dates. Like, definitely don't be spinning yourself as cool if that's not how you feel. That's called that's the opposite of what we preach here, which is honesty, integrity, admitting if you're not good at something. Like, you will actually have better results if you show up to dates and say, hey, I'm a little nervous. You know, how are you feeling? Are you nervous? And she'll go, yeah, I'm a little nervous too. And you go, cool. Do you want to be nervous together? And she goes, great. But if you try and be this cool alpha male Chad who's all perfect, you show up to a date and you fall apart. Like, it's just so much pressure to try and maintain that label of like, I'm cool. It's a mask you put up. And I lived that way for years, and it was extremely painful. And a lot of my coaching clients come to me because they're sick of trying to spin themselves as cool and be something that they don't feel like they've achieved yet. Can you be cool? Yes. Can you work on being cooler on the apps and having better pictures? Obviously, do that. But it can, for some people, stray into like almost just faking it. And then at that point, it's just so much pressure that you're not present with the person, you're not having fun, and you feel like you're putting up this mask or this persona, trying so hard to be cool. It's like you're spending all of your time trying to impress her, which is not abundance mentality, is it? It's not outcome independence. It's not peaceful and easy to be on a date when you're trying to be cool. So, Phoenix, brother, I appreciate you helping. Like, I want to make that fucking clear, dude. Like, yeah, to be clear, you say, I won't give dating advice. No, bro, don't be sorry. Like, that's what I said. Dude, what you're doing is beautiful. How about we say this? Phoenix, give as much advice as you want. You're doing a beautiful job. Anytime I see something that I think you might be missing some context, or maybe you just don't know because you haven't fucking done it, I will jump in and I will give a bit of extra context. I will not tell you that you're wrong, but I'll jump in and give extra context. I appreciate you helping, brother. That's what this community is. It's a bunch of people, some of who know some things, some of who know a little bit less, some people know a little bit in the middle, and we're all trying to fucking help each other. The fact that you even tried, brother, is amazing. That's what I care about. So I could have been a little bit less clumsy with that. I'm really tired this morning. So I'm not feeling very eloquent or patient, I guess. But I appreciate you helping, brother. Like, I promise you are helping. You're going to say, I think the only people I saw banned from Good Looking Loser were stubbornly negative. Yeah, so we had a rule on there. And we had a rule on my forums too, where if you're very negative, we will give you like a warning and say, look, you're complaining a lot, you're being negative, you're shooting other people's advice down, go out and take action. a lot of your problems and your complaints and all of this will solve itself if you just go and take action towards your goals. But sitting here complaining on the forums is dragging everyone else down, and you're not helping. You're not helping yourself. That's what we care about. We want you to win. These forums are strictly for people taking action. They are not a place to just bitch and moan and complain. You can share your problems and complain about your problems. Great, do that. And then the very next thing that we're going to say is like, awesome. We're here for you. We love you. What's the next step that you'd like to take? But if you say, there's no next step, like it's not fair, it's all hopeless, you get a warning, and a gentle warning, but like, hey, come on, man, this is not that place. And that was on my forums as well. Like I said, it was on the Good Looking Loser forums. It's what we have on here. Remember a couple of days ago, I specifically had a couple of conversations over 2 days where I said, look, I get that some people are getting emotional about certain things are frustrating certain people. Great, good, share that a couple of times. But then if your next thing is like, I'm going to keep complaining about the same thing, we're going to say, what action would you like to take to improve it? If this thing is frustrating you, don't do it. Don't watch it. Don't consume it. Move away from it. Go take some action. And if your answer is then, I'm just going to keep arguing and debating, which, yeah, that happened on the forums a lot. If anyone argues, you get a warning. If you keep doing it, you get banned. You just straight up get banned. Like this, it's a very hardcore community. And I've kept that, or I built that on my forums. I helped build that on the Good Looking Loser forums. And I've helped build that here in this community. Like, we are strictly here to improve ourselves. Yes, share your emotions. We all know that we love to be vulnerable and emotional and all of that. Share your complaints, bitch and moan all you want to. And then when you've bitched and moaned and gotten it all out, we're going to say, thank you for sharing that, brother. Or sister. That's amazing. Beautiful stuff. Great of you to be so vulnerable. What would you like to do now? Like, what step would you like to take next? Like, how can we start building you towards the life that you want to live? How can we make you into the man or the woman that you want to become? Like, what do we do now? And if your answer is like, well, I just want to keep complaining and being negative, then at some point it will be like, all right, no, thank you. They're just not interested. And there's plenty of other communities out there that will happily let you bitch and moan. Like, there's tons of them. There's so many of them. That channel that we showed on the screen before, like Girl Helps Guy or whatever it's called, Girlfriend's Guide for Guys, that channel. There's a lot of negativity in the comments on her channel, and she's obviously happy for that to be there. And great, good. There's negativity on my channel too. I just don't see it. I don't check the comments anymore. Cam shows me the comments that he wants me to respond to, but I don't check my comments anymore. So that's one way of doing it. Leave the negativity there and just don't engage in it. And if any negativity ever comes into a live stream, then I just ban that person. I block them. I mute them. That's already happened a couple of times. Like, if someone's overly negative or complaining or just outright hostile to the mission that we have here, which is, who do you want to be and how can we help you do that? If someone's hostile to that and they're like, you guys are all stupid, or this is dumb, or it's hopeless, women will never be nice to men, it's like, we'll talk to you about that a little bit, brother, and try and help you work through that. But if it's clear that you're stuck on that ego positionality, which is just flat out wrong, like, your story is literally wrong, that no woman on the planet would ever be nice to any man ever is like literally just a statement of falsehood. Or that no woman would ever be nice to you and that you are incapable of having sex or love or a relationship is just literally a falsehood. So if someone keeps preaching that falsehood, then yeah, we'll ban them after trying to help them. Unless they're just outright hostile and they're like, you guys are dumb, then it's like, no thanks, not interested. Like, you all have enough of that stuff in your life. You've all had enough people bully you over your lifetime. Like, basically all of you have been bullied, including myself. You've had people not believe in you. You've had people tell you that what you're doing is wrong or bad or shallow or stupid. You've had your own voices in your head telling you, is this even okay? Is it okay to have these goals? Am I good or am I bad? Like, there's enough of that shit. You don't really need to hear someone else say that to you. Like, you've heard it all said to yourself. So yeah, we generally speaking, we have love for those people that come to the community and are like that. But yeah, this just like isn't that place. We just don't have time for that shit, really. Phoenix, you say, now I'm worried that if I take too long to start coaching, the price will go up and I'll have to save up some more. I have some windfall cash, but it won't get me all the way there. But I don't want you to live your life in fear of missing out. I can't predict the future. I am going to put the coaching price up at some point. Like, no shit. Like 10 years from now, the coaching is not going to be $11,000. I probably won't even be doing coaching 10 years from now. I'll probably make enough from like play to win video course and bits and pieces like that. Maybe YouTube grows and I get some ad revenue, which I don't get much ad revenue because of the topics that we talk about. I make like $50 a month, which is still great. I'm grateful for that. But maybe 10 years from now, I'll be at a point where I'm not doing coaching. And yes, the price will go up. And I can't predict the future. But I don't think I'm going to put the price up for the next year. Don't hold me to that. I cannot promise you. But I don't think I'm going to put it up in the next year. But I don't know. What if the channel suddenly blows up and goes viral, and then I get a whole bunch of people applying for the coaching program and wanting to join? Then yes, I will put the price up. I like the coaching program to be a set amount of people, roughly between 10 and 20 people, like at all times. I find that a nice little number to work with. Sometimes it's been slightly more than that. Sometimes it's been less than that. But it's sat at roughly 10 to 20 for the last, I don't know, year or two. And I like to keep it at that. So if we got a whole bunch of people coming to the program, then maybe I would bump the price up a bit. So yeah, but I don't think I'm going to put the price up in the next year. So you're probably fine for a year. I don't want you to live your life in fear of missing out. Something that I'll tell you, that I tell everybody, which sounds like a funny thing to do when you're trying to sell something, but I'm not trying to sell something. I'm offering something, and if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. You don't need my coaching. Like, none of you need my coaching. Would it help you? Yeah, it'd probably speed things up a lot. It does for basically everyone that joins the coaching program. Would I give you a big epiphanies that might take you a couple of years to figure out on your own? Yeah. Like, that's why you're fucking paying me. But will your life fall apart and go to shit if you don't pay me for coaching? No. Will your life be okay if you don't pay me for coaching? Yes. You'll be fine, bro. Like, everything's already okay. You just think that it's not because you're caught up in negative thinking, and everything will be okay, regardless of if you join my coaching or not. There's also enough of my free content out there. For God's sakes, I've made 1,800 pieces of content at this point, and I'm one person. There are then so many other people working on dating, business, sex, love, all of that. Like, there's just like so much shit out there. There's almost like too much stuff out there that your challenge is not, can I find an answer to my problems? But the challenge now of most people is like, how do I know if this person is talking shit or not? Like, how do I actually trust them? And the answer there is like, do they show some proof? Do they have lots of testimonials? Do they have like, you know, for sex and dating or something? Do they have their girlfriend on the stream? Do they have like pictures of them having sex? Do they have videos? Do they have stories? Like that kind of thing? Like, is there some sort of evidence that they're not just like, is there more than just a fancy sales page? Like basically that. But even then, that's the challenge. It's like, how do I even know if this person's going to help me or not? That's the challenge. So all of that is me saying, you don't need the coaching. None of you do. I'd love you to be there. I want you to be there. It helps me. I don't have to stress about money. Helps pay Imogen's bills and Cam's bills. I get to coach you, which is what I love to do. I love working with people. Like, coaching is so unbelievably rewarding. So I want you all to be there, but you don't need it. I'm never going to tell you that your life will be utter dog shit if you don't have it. So yeah, like I want you all to be making a decision. Here's what I'm trying to say. I want you all to be making a decision if you join the coaching, or even if you just pay me $200 for one of those calls. I want you to be doing it from a place of like rational choice rather than emotionality or fear. Like, you're all living your lives in fear. A lot of you are living your lives in fear all the time anyway. And the point of my coaching and my content and all of this and this community is to lift you up out of fear, lift you up that map of consciousness that we talk about a lot, and move you up into like being a bit more neutral or rational or stoic, or even making decisions from love and excitement. I would rather you join the coaching out of excitement and love and like, I really want to do this. This will be a gift to me. This would be something nice I give Andy because I'm paying his bills. Like, this would be a beautiful thing that we share together, and all the other coaches and the clients. This would be a beautiful thing. I want you to be making a decision from that place rather than I'm worried that I'm taking too long. I'm going to miss out. Fuck, I got to do this. Like, you don't know how many times I get on a call with someone, and it's very clear that the only reason they want to sign up is out of fear. And maybe they're just like, they don't have the money. And they could take a bank loan and all of that. And yeah, I've done that stuff. I've taken out money to pay for coaching and stuff like that. They could do all of that. But it's very clear that they're leaning towards no. Like, it's clear that they don't want to sign up for coaching, but they're worried about missing out. You don't know how many times I will spend like half an hour or an hour talking to that person and basically telling them that everything's going to be okay, that they're not signing up for coaching. And like, I basically talk them out of the decision and say like, look, this is clearly a no, right? And they're like, I think so. But like, what if this is a bad decision? What if like I should have signed up for the coaching? And I'm like, bro, I don't want you to fucking come to the coaching because you think you should have. That is literally the opposite of what I'm trying to do in the coaching, which is move you away from the word should. And I should do this and feeling guilt and fear and all of that. I'm trying to empower you. I want you to make a decision and own it. And so I'll spend like half an hour or an hour helping them own that decision. And they get to the point where they're like I literally just want them to say yes or no in a firm way. I don't give a fuck which one it is. I just don't want them to say, I should do this, or I shouldn't do this, or I can't. Like, I'm not interested in I can't. That's like just the least attractive word in the English language to me, along with should and all of that. I'm not interested in I can't. Like, if any of you say, I can't sign up for coaching right now, like, fucking own it. Say, I'm choosing not to sign up right now. Or, I don't have the money, and so I'm owning the decision that I'm not signing up for coaching right now. But rather than the sort of victim that we paint ourselves as with a lot of things, like, oh, I want to, but like I shouldn't. It's like, make a decision, yes or no. If it's a no, say no. That's beautiful. So yeah, man, Phoenix, long rant, but I promise everything's okay, dude. You want to say 10 years more experience would make a difference? Yeah, it'll probably be, so you're talking about me getting 10 years more experience with coaching. I can't predict how I will change. None of us really can. But I will probably get better at empathy. I will probably be a lot better at just sitting with people and giving them unconditional love, which I think I'm already decent at that. I want to work a lot on being a lot less judgmental and a lot more open-minded and meeting people where they're at. I think I'm decent with that right now, but I can see a lot of room for improvement in myself, and I'm excited to work on that. I will do a lot more business coaching for sure. Like, that's definitely going to be a thing. Right now, I would say maybe 10% of the clients, maybe 20% sometimes of the clients that come, we work with them on business. So I'd love to move that up. I'd like to work with more women. That's definitely something. I've worked with like 4 women in total. So I'd love to do just like, I don't know, at one point, maybe 50% women, 50% men. That'd be fun. Yeah, there's lots of stuff I think I'll improve at over the years. So yeah. You're going to say, even if I don't need coaching, the community would be nice to have. It's definitely really nice to be around a bunch of people that are kicking ass. You have no idea how many times people come to the coaching and they have like 0 friends or maybe a couple of friends. And just being in the coaching group for 3 weeks, they're like, holy shit, I've literally never had anyone in my life care about me. And you guys were like there for me when I was sad. You picked me up when I was down. There was that girl that rejected me. And then like literally 2 hours later, I felt good because of you guys. Whereas in the past, I would have felt shit for like 2 months and quit for 2 months. So like, that's nice. It's nice to be around a bunch of people that care about you. And that's what we're trying to do here with these live streams and just the channel in general. We're just trying to show you that like, look, people give a shit about you. I think a lot of people, especially men, I think men do this a lot, right? Where they'll be by themselves. They'll have literally 0 friends or very few friends. And even if they have friends, they won't open up about their dating struggles or their struggles with self-esteem or self-love. And so they're just like not talking to anyone, and they just assume the world doesn't give a fuck about them. And it's like, lots of people, I say this all the time, lots of girls would fall in love with you if you'd give them the chance to meet you. Lots of guys would care deeply about you. They just don't know you exist. Like, how are they supposed to know you exist? Like, it's up to us to go out there and be like, hi, I exist. Would you like to date me? Or would you like to be my friend? Like, you got to go out there and do that. Same with business. Would you like to buy my product or my service? And so I think there's a lot of people here that are very lonely. I think maybe even more so on the internet. The internet is like a beautiful place that allows us to connect, and I'm so grateful for that. And then at the same time, for some people, the internet is the very place that makes them feel so alone. So yeah, we have a community here. I like our community, dude. But yeah, I know what you mean about saving time. That is like kind of what the coaching is about. You're going to say, I keep thinking I might be able to get started on a payment plan. So for my coaching, is all of this you trying to talk yourself into the decision, dude? Because if that's what you're doing, then, you know, go for it. Like, you're very welcome to get on a call with me if you want my help with making that decision, man. I would ask if you're going to get on a call with me, because it is taking time out of my day, which I love doing. But like, please get to a point where you're pretty serious about the coaching. And I feel like you're still working through that. I like people to have basically almost made the decision by the time they come to me, or at least be like really seriously thinking about it. But yeah, you could probably make it work with a payment plan. You could probably also make it work if you just waited, bro. Like, both are fine. Like, a lot of the time we put so much pressure on ourselves to make a decision. If you want to come to the coaching program right now, do it. If you want to wait a couple of months, do it. Just make sure you're using that time effectively, no matter which one you choose. A lot of the time we think there's a right decision. Like, should I start on this goal now? Should I join the coaching program now? Like, I will obviously help you and speed run things for you. And yeah, I would always err on a little bit of the side of like, yes, join the coaching. I can help you way more than if you don't join. But at the same time, it's not the world's worst decision to say, I'm going to wait, as long as you're using that time effectively. What I don't want to see from any of you, I mean, do whatever you want, it's your life. But what I'm trying to guide all of you away from is saying, okay, I won't join a coaching program, or I won't go and take action, or I won't go to the gym. And then I'm just going to sit around feeling shitty for the next like 3 months. It's like, well, don't do that. Like, either join the coaching program and we will absolutely help you take a ton of, like, you will take action in the coaching group, or use that time really hyper effectively. You can kind of think of it like this. And this is a fun game that I used to play, and it really helped me with my self-improvement. I still do it sometimes. If you're not in coaching, which the vast majority of you listening are not in my coaching program, obviously, the vast majority of people I speak to will not get coaching from me ever, obviously. If you're not in my coaching program, pretend that you are. Like, literally pretend that I'm coaching you and that you've paid all this money. Like, literally fantasize. Imagine if I paid Andy $11,000, or I took a payment plan or whatever, and I was paying him $500 a month. Imagine I was literally going hard on this money thing and just like, fucking, here you go, take my money, bitch, change my life. What would I do each day? And this is a really fun exercise, what do I think Andy would say to me every day? And everything you're doing, every decision that you're making, just think, what would Andy say right now if he was here? And I promise you I wouldn't beat you up, so let's start with that. But what I would probably say most of the time is like, hey, bro, like, what would you like to do right now? Like, would you like to go out and talk to a girl? How about we do that, man? Like, you got this. You're great. I promise you can do this. Like, give yourself a pep talk in my voice. And if not me, pick someone else. Pick someone else that you admire, or it can be me. And just imagine someone that's done what you want to do and that really believes in you and has given you a lot of pep talks. And maybe they have a coaching program, or maybe they've just achieved a lot. What would that person say to you? And in your brain, say it. Say it in their voice. Like, imagine you're hearing it in their voice. That can be incredibly motivating. So, Phoenix, join the coaching program. Yeah, it would change your life, bro. That's what it's for. Or don't, but then just pretend that you are. Like, that's almost as effective. Someone once asked me, Andy, do you ever worry that like Chat GPT or something will like steal your voice? Like, someone will program Chat GPT and pretend to be you? And I said, like, I fucking hope that happens. That'd be great. There'd be twice as many Andys helping people. That'd be cool. Yeah, great. Do it. So you can literally just pretend that I'm giving you advice. And it might not be perfectly exactly what I would say, but it's like, you probably know I'm going to give you motivation. You probably know I'm going to tell you that you can make it. You probably know that I'm going to say, like, everything's going to be okay, bro. Just go out there and take a baby step. Take action. You all know roughly what I will say. So just pretend that I'm fucking saying that to you. All right, Mortis says, are you guys telling your goals or something? Yeah, tell your goals if you want to, bro. Tell your struggles, tell your victories, whatever you want to share. As long as, like, to be very clear, these live streams, I want them to be self-improvement focused and like self-love focused. And we can talk about happiness. You can talk about mental health, talk about your goals, whatever. Just make sure it's like something to do with improving in some way, even if it's just let's chill and have a fun time and talk about happiness and love and all of that shit. Talk about something positive, I guess I'm saying. But share whatever you want. Mortis says, the thing is, who the hell has $500 left? It's a US thing probably. In my country, the average monthly salary is like $800 to $1,000 a month. And then you go on to talk about your rent. So, earlier, what did I say, gentlemen? We are allowed to complain. You are allowed to complain. You're allowed to be the victim and say it's hopeless, which is what you're doing here. Now, what would you like to do about it? Instead of complaining, which is sort of what this is, and by the way, Mortis, don't join my coaching program. This isn't for you, but rather than complaining, talk about the next step. You have 2 steps here. Number 1 is to say, well, is there anyone else in my country that earns more than $1,000 US? Yes, there fucking is. Of course there is. I think some part of you knows that. So look around you, find those people, go up to them and say, how the fuck do you earn your money? And some of them will tell you because they will want to. They want you to be rich. They don't want to see other people sitting around in poverty. I am one of those people. I spend a hell of a lot of my time trying to help all of you, lifting you up, helping you build businesses, helping you earn more money. I want you all to have money. I want you all to be as rich as you want and share that with others and improve the world and all of that. I want that for you. And lots of other people in your country with lots of money want the same thing for you. And if you walk up to them and say, hey, how'd you earn your money? Some of them will say, I'm not interested, no thanks. But some of them will be like, fucking hell, Mortis, thank you for asking me. Okay, bro, here's what you got to do. Here's what I did. Do this, do that, do this. And you go, oh, shit, you mean it's possible? I've said in many other live streams, and I've done content on this, if you are in a poorer country or a country that's economically not doing as well, you can absolutely fucking crush it if you go on websites like Fiverr.com. Because if in your country you're only earning $1,000 a month, imagine if you make $3,000 a month from Fiverr. Or imagine if you teach yourself video editing, which you can do for free. Download DaVinci Resolve and teach yourself to video edit. I pay my video editor 5 times the average wage. Because to me, that's fucking nothing. I pay them $10 to edit a short, $10 US to edit a short, like a 1-minute video. So 1 minute of video editing, like a 1-minute final product, I pay them $10. And they're used to getting $1 or $2 an hour over there. And if I give them 20 videos of mine to edit, and I say, here's $200 US, they're like, Jesus fucking Christ, that's like 100 to 200 hours worth of work you have paid me for. You have paid me the monthly salary. And I've done it in like a day. It took me a day or maybe 2 days to edit that. So thanks. I did 2 days worth of work. And some of them don't even do the world's best job. Like sometimes I have to correct something and say, hey, can you fix this? This was a mistake. Like they're not perfect. They're not doing the world's best job. I'm probably overpaying them. But there are lots of people like me that want to pay them because like, yeah, some bro's doing my work and I have money to spare. So why wouldn't I overpay that person? And if I overpay them, they be more loyal to me and they prioritize my work over anyone else's. And so, yeah, no shit, I overpay them. Like it helps me and it makes me feel nice too. Like I think about how I would feel if I was someone like you, Mortis, and I was in a country where maybe it was a little harder or a lot harder to earn money. And some dude from the West was like, no worries, bro, I got you. I'll pay you 5 times what I pay other people. I'd be like, fucking thank you. Thank you for being nice to me. That means the world. I'm going to bust my ass and work for you. And the people that I pay to do my video editing and shit, yeah, they bust their ass. Like I said, they make mistakes sometimes, but they work hard. And so you could go in there and be that person. Yeah, you'll have to do work. You'll have to teach yourself video editing. You could teach yourself Photoshop. You could teach yourself copywriting. You could teach yourself a million skills. And you can be the person who's earning in 2 days what everyone else around you takes an entire month to earn. And then you can be one of the people if you want to. You don't have to. But you could pay me $500 a month. It's not that hard to earn $500 a month, but it's hard when you think that you're a victim. And that's what this channel is about, getting you to start looking at solutions to your problems and realizing the solutions are not that hard. It's just that you're so stuck in a mindset because of everyone else around you and where you're growing up. And so fair enough. But you're stuck in a mindset of like, nothing can be done. And again, pay me for coaching or don't. I don't really care, man. But like, I just don't want to see you sitting there in poverty thinking that this has to be the way that it is just because it's everybody else around you like that. You could even leave your country, save up enough money, go move somewhere else. That's possible. There are so many countries where there's so many other opportunities. It's so easy to say the thing that you just said here, which is like, this must be a USA thing. And then you just dismiss every fucking immigrant that moved to the USA. The United States of America is literally a country built on immigration, on people who did, you know, there's that Will Smith movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. People who were like, all right, America is a chance is for us to have a great reset and like go there, like reset our own life. Go there, work hard, bust our ass, and maybe we can give a better life to ourselves and our children. Do you know how many fucking immigrants would look at your statement here where you're like, it's probably just a US thing, and be like, bro, fuck you. I can't. And they'd probably be nicer than that, but they'd be like, bro, fuck you. I came from this country. I had nothing. I escaped a war-torn country, and the US gave me a chance because that's what the US likes to do. Lots of countries do. And they gave me a fucking chance, and I worked my fucking ass off, bro. Don't just say it's a USA thing, like blah, blah, blah. That's probably what they'd say to you, dude. So I promise that you're not stuck. It's so easy to feel like a victim. It's so easy to get caught up in that shit. But there are opportunities, bro. Either take them or don't. Like, you don't have to. Just say like, no, I'm fine being my complacent self, but then own that decision and don't complain about it and don't denigrate other people and be like, oh, it's easy. It must be easy for USA people. Yeah, it must be so easy for other countries in the West. They can just pay Andy for coaching and change their life. Bro, do you know how many people have emailed me from like third world countries in the middle of fucking war zones and shit and being like, Andy, I have literally no money to pay you. So I'm never going to pay you for coaching. Great, cool, don't care. But I bought your Play to Win video course for $1, and I appreciate it, bro. I've been reading it and watching it every day, and it has been like a Bible for me. I have changed my life because of this, and I've been following your content for free for years, and I've gone out there and taken action, and I've slowly built a business, and I'm moving. I'm actually leaving my country because there's no opportunities here, bro. And it's taken 3 years, but I hustled, I busted my ass. Thank you. Do you know how many people from third world countries? And then if you sit there and say, it's just a USA thing, only people from the USA and rich countries can change. It's like, bro, you're doing such a disservice to yourself there. You're disempowering yourself. You are absolutely capable of change, but it's never going to happen while you sit there and think, my country is imprisoning me. It's not fair. I live in a third world country and there's nothing I can do about it. No, that is what most people around you in a third world country think. But if you start taking responsibility, you can rise above everyone else around you or most people around you. And if you start to look for it, you'll see a lot of people in your country, no matter where you are on earth, that have either chosen to move, or maybe they go and study something and teach themselves skills like video editing or Photoshop or whatever else. And they prove themselves, they move out, or they make a ton of money while they're there. There's a million different ways to win, but don't fucking say, because I don't have $500 a month, I can't win. Bro, you can win on $0. You don't need money. Why do you need money to improve your life? Why do you need to pay me for coaching? This is all built on such a flimsy premise. Your statement here is built on, I don't have $500, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. It's like, first of all, you could make $500, not that hard. We live in the connected age of the internet. If you're watching my channel, you are capable of earning thousands of dollars a month. You can be as rich in a third world country as I am. You can do everything I have done, no matter where you are. Literally, no matter where you are. You might have to do certain things that I didn't have to do. You might have certain struggles that I didn't have, but I probably had certain struggles that you won't have. We're all on a unique journey, but you're not a victim, dude. Like, don't play that game with yourself, man, because it's just not kind to you. Like, you don't realize it, but you're basically trapping yourself with your mindset. And Mortis, you are such a great dude. You are such a great fucking human being. You deserve better than to imprison yourself, dude, with your mindset. Like, you're great, bro. You're unlimited. You just are limiting yourself with this mindset, dude. You go on to say, my first plan is to find a job. Fuck yes. Now we are talking. Yes, bro. This is what I want to hear from you. This is my plan. This is what I'm doing. Break it down into baby steps. We can help with that. Dude, you say, I used to be a professional 3D artist. Then go on Fiverr. Go on people per hour. I don't know what country you're in. If you're in somewhere like the Philippines, you can go to onlinejobs.ph. Like, find places. Go to 20 different websites. Sign up and be like, hey, I'll do 3D modeling for you. Especially if you sell your services to the West. Like, you could be a YouTube thumbnail generator and people charge $5 to $10 per thumbnail. And you might be like, what the fuck? But like, a thumbnail takes like 2 minutes. And it's like, yeah, no shit. But some dude in the West, like including me, I've paid for thumbnails sometimes. Some dude in the West like me will be like, yeah, $10, fine, sure. But then for you in a third world country, you're like, holy shit, dude. This is like a day's wage. Or this is like a couple of hours wage. Bro, fuck. Man, imagine if I got a lot of business and I did a bunch of YouTube thumbnails and I could do 10 a day. Would I earn $100 a day? Yeah. Holy fuck, oh my God. In 10 days, I'd earn my monthly wage. Holy shit, bro. That's 2 weeks of working. Or I could just do it 10 days in a row. 10 days. Then I would have 20 days left in the month to just, go sit on the beach and do nothing. My bills are paid. I did it. Holy shit. Or what if I spent those next 20 days doing the same amount of work? Would I earn triple the monthly wage? And it's like, yeah. And then you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And then what if I got really good at thumbnails? What if I charged $15 a thumbnail because I went above and beyond? Oh my God, shit. What if I got God tier at it and I did extra services as well as the thumbnails? Like, maybe I learned some SEO. And so you can get super rich, bro. But if you're already doing 3D modeling, why don't you just jump on Fiverr and see what's on there? Like, this is my go-to answer for anyone that's in a third world country. It's like, stop, like, don't work in a fucking supermarket or something. Like, don't go to the fucking sweatshop. What are you doing? Like, fine, do that daily if you got to pay the bills, but every spare second you have, go the fuck on Fiverr. Like everybody else not everybody, but like most people on Fiverr and people per hour and all of those websites, yeah, they're from a third world country. They're from the middle of a war zone, or they're from the Philippines, or they're from somewhere where their wage is so much lower. And they're fucking killing it. They're living like kings and princes. Like, I've talked to, and I have friends that hire a lot of like Filipino workers, for instance, like for video editing and shit like that. And they've talked to some of them and done Zoom calls with them and like celebrated Christmas with them and all of that. And like, yeah, these motherfuckers are like feeding their entire family and all their kids and all of that. They're paying off their mortgage for their house. They're buying their parent, like paying off their parents' mortgage so their parents can live, looking after their brothers and sisters, paying for like weddings for their cousins and shit. And they're like, holy fuck, like every dollar that you pay me, I'm fucking supporting like 20 of us. Like, this is dope. I never thought that I would get to do this. So yeah, like you have the most opportunities. It's funny that when you're in the third world country, when someone's in a third world country, people will focus on like, it's awful and it's bad and I have the most challenges. You have unique challenges, but you also have some of the most opportunities. Like if you're in America, like you have Mortis, you probably have this like, and lots of people do, this like glossy rose tinted view of America. And America is amazing. I would rather live in America versus like a third world country. Yes, no shit. But like there are challenges living there too. Life isn't just easy mode because you're there. Every human being struggles with stuff. And so if you're in the USA, you probably can't do a YouTube thumbnail for $5. That won't pay the bills. You probably can't be doing video editing for an hour's worth of work for $5. Yeah, it's fucking hard to live off $5. You can make it work, but like, my God, you're only eating rice. You're not eating decently. So yeah, what you call a challenge, yes, it is that, but it's also an opportunity. Like life is handing you a beautiful opportunity to be a rich motherfucker in the country that you're living in. Like literally, you could be one of the richest, most baller people out there. If you were earning what I'm earning right now, which is roughly in US dollars, I will say like 8,000 US dollars a month, average roughly. Some months are more, some months are less. If you imagine you were earning 8,000 US dollars a month right now where you live, would you not be a fucking king? You would be balling out of control, brother. Imagine if you had like my biggest month ever. Emmy and Cam's, we share the money and all of that. But our biggest month ever was 70,000 US. Actually, I think it was like 80,000 US dollars. Bro, imagine you had a month where you earned 80,000 US dollars. And yes, a huge chunk of that goes to bills and expenses and tax and Cam and Emmy and all of that and paying off a tax debt that we have and all of that shit. But imagine you just earned $80,000 before tax. Bro, you would be fucking, you'd probably buy a Lamborghini. I wouldn't recommend you just go and spend that money on a Lamborghini. Save some of that money, but you'd be a fucking king. Dude, you'd be a king. And if I can do it, you can too. Like, I'm not special. I didn't do anything that you're not capable of doing. Yes, it took a long time. It might take you the next 5 or 10 years. You might need to go and change your life a lot and then inspire other people and then coach them. If you want to just copy what I've done, do it. Probably take 5 years. You probably do it in 5 years. 5 years from now, you could be earning like $50,000 a month. I'm not guaranteeing that, but maybe if you spent 10 years on it, yeah, pretty decent chance. So 10 years from now, you could be earning, like you could be a fucking king, bro. You could be a king. But you have to give up that mindset of negativity and hopelessness. And I had that too, brother. Like I had that hopeless mindset when I started all this shit. But you got to move past that and actually fucking try. You could be a king, bro. You could be way more rich than me. Way more rich. Like I'd be a poor little bastard compared to you. All right, maybe we'll answer 1 or 2 more questions. Expert cheat clapper, you always ask the big questions, brother. You're funny. Do I believe in alternate realities? So when people use the word believe, you're basically implying, I guess the question is, am I convinced? Like, like the word believe literally means that I state a premise and then I think it's true. No, I don't have any fucking clue. Now, do I play around with the idea of alternate realities? Yeah, we all do. We all live in we all talk about alternate realities millions of times a day. You just don't realize you're doing it. Every time you say, but what if she rejects me? That's an alternate reality. Has it happened yet? No. Then it is a hypothetical. It's not real. You're literally talking about an alternate reality. Every time we look back on the past, are we accurate in how we look back? Fuck no. We judge the past. We say it was good. We say it was bad. We misremember facts. Like, we're not very good at looking back at the past and being realistic. So that's an alternate reality. Also, if you go and talk to someone else and be like, hey, do you remember that thing that happened 2 years ago? Remember when this happened? And they're like, no, that's not how I remember. So we both have different memories of the past. That's a different alternate reality. We have different views of what the future is going to be and how it's going to come about. We're living in alternate realities. Anytime you're living in the future or the past, you are literally living in an alternate reality. So I guess by that definition, then maybe I do believe in alternate realities. I just don't call them real. And that is where a lot of all of your suffering comes from. Less so you, expert cheek clapper, but understand that all of you that are suffering, like all of you that are suffering, you are literally suffering because you're living in a make-believe reality. Like, but what if this girl rejects me? It hasn't happened yet. It's made up. It might not even happen. You might go up to her and she's like, I'd love to go on a date with you. You just lived in a false reality for a little while, and that causes pain and suffering. Or you look back on the past and you're just viewing the negative side of it, and that's not viewing the full picture. If you pick just the negatives from your past and you double down on that and you get very negative, that's not reality. You're not being realistic. You're not looking at the whole picture, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. You're just saying, I'm only going to pick the bad stuff. So that's where all of your suffering comes from. That's kind of what I'm trying to help all of you with, is to get you to realize that these made up, make-believe illusions that you're living in are literally an alternate reality that isn't real. Like, you're living in the reality of, what if something goes bad? It hasn't happened yet, so it's not real. It literally isn't real yet. And so, yeah, expert sheet clapper. I do believe in alternate realities. They literally exist. I see y'all living in them. And the mission of my content, the mission of Buddhism, the mission of Byron Katie, is to get you to come back home to this present moment. This present moment is the only thing that exists right now. But a lot of you are too busy, and I do this too sometimes. I'm not perfect with this. We live in different realities of the future: worry, anxiety, fear. What if this goes wrong? The past, and then we have regret, anger, frustration, righteous anger. That shouldn't have happened. And we're not here. We're missing here. Nobody's here right now in this moment running the show, because we're busy taking a vacation, a very painful vacation in the future or in the past. But come back home to this moment right now. Be present, be here. And that's a challenge. I am not perfect with that. I'll be the first person to say I'm not perfect with that. But this is the only actual reality, and everything other than this is a painful delusion. So great question, dude. I know that wasn't probably the answer you were expecting. Brandon. How do you hug a girl, Andy? You just go like, "Rah," and you just go, put arms. Or you can do this. You put one arm, do the one arm hug. You can just put your hands on her shoulder, just like you're giving her a little speech. Like, put your hands on her shoulder like you're giving her a pep talk. That's technically a hug. Wrap a hand over around the back of her. You can wrap a hand under and up around her. You can get her to put her arms up like a T-pose, like in a video game, and then you wrap your arms underneath her and then kind of like hook them around, almost like you're doing like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something, and you're putting her in a chokehold. I would ask for consent before I do the chokehold one. But yeah, you say, I was always confused about it. Just hug if you want to. Bro, I'll tell you something that makes this easier. Because to answer your question properly, you're basically saying, I'm assuming you're asking, like, okay, you're physically asking, how do I reach down? Why don't you ask them? Like, they're going to give you a much better answer, bro. Like, that might sound like a funny way to answer it, but like, why are you asking me? I don't know. Bro, like, just ask people, yo, how do I hug you? You're fucking short. Like, I tell people that, I don't tell guys this because it, wouldn't be a kindness to guys. But I tell chicks all the time, you're so short, because I'm like 6'1", and so I will tell them all the time, you're short. Like, how do I hug? I've said that to girls. You're short. Like, how do you want me to hug you? Like, literally. Like, Emmy has a friend. Emmy has a friend who's 4'11", and her boyfriend's like 5 foot. And I literally said that to them. I was like, should I lean down? Like, I literally said, should I lean down? And they're like, yeah. And so then I like leaned down and hugged them, because I don't know, they were real short. And so I didn't want to I didn't know how to hug them. I haven't hugged someone that's like 4'11" before. So you can just ask, bro. Just like, yo, how do I hug you? Do you want me to like squat down? But all of this is like you basically asking, how do I be perfect at hugs? Give yourself permission to suck, bro. Just try it for a hug. The mission of hugs is not to give a good hug. It's to give love. It's the intention behind the hug. It's what the hug says. It's like, hey, I like you. Hey, how's it going? Hey, I'm safe to be around. Hey, I care about you. Hey, I want you to be happy. Hey, human contact feels nice. It doesn't matter how you do that, bro. It's just about like the intention behind it. A really good quote from Mother Teresa that relates to this: I would rather you make mistakes in kindness than work miracles in unkindness. I say this in content all the time. I would rather you try your best and make some mistakes and fuck up a bit than you go in there trying to be perfect. The mission is not to be perfect, because it just keeps you in your own head. Like, you're kind of in your own head here. Imagine if you just said to yourself, what if I just give a shit hug and I try my best? Then you'd go in there and give a shit hug and you'd improve at it the more you do it. You'd realize that it was good to begin with and that you were overthinking. You were living in that like make-believe reality, that alternate reality of like worrying about what might go wrong if you give a bad hug. But I promise it's okay to give a shit hug, man. I promise it's okay. All right, maybe we'll start wrapping up. I'm feeling a little tired, guys, and I got a big I got my group coaching call from my coaching program in a little bit, and I want to be nice and fresh for that because that goes for like 3 hours. So I might be a tired boy. Maybe I'll scroll through, see if there's any other questions. Mortis, I can see you a lot talking about jobs. Beautiful, bro. There you go. Look at those juices flowing, bro. This is great. You go on to say, I'm going to point something out to you, brother. Yes, I would be a king, so you're talking about making tons of money, but I have to literally be realistic. No, you fucking don't, brother. You think you're being realistic, but you're being negative. And I'm not picking on you, dude. This is not you. Like, I've said this to so many people. Like, you think you're realistic. You don't have a fucking clue what's realistic. You haven't tried. How could you possibly know what's realistic? Who is in a better position to know what's realistic, me or you? And you would say, me, because I'm me and I live in this country. No, fuck off, dude. Like, you're not the one that's tried. You're not the one that's really tried, so you don't know what's possible. You're also not the one that's coached lots of people. So this is like one of those few times when I'm going to stamp my foot down. And I don't do this a lot, but I'm going to play the expert card. I don't like playing this card, but I am the expert. You are not. Shut up and listen to me. Like, I don't want to let that sit there. I don't like doing that. But look, believe me if you want to. Don't believe me if you don't. I am correct on this. Literally. I literally have evidence, and your evidence is very flimsy. Yours is a feeling. But you're not being realistic, and that's okay. Most people are not realistic. It's like all of you who say, or all the people that will say, I'm too old and I can't get laid. It's like, you're literally factually wrong. I have proven that wrong with so many coaching clients at this point. You are literally not an exception. And then the person will say, but I think I'm an exception. And then 3 weeks later, they'll say, Andy, I'm sorry that I said I was an exception. And it's like, don't be sorry, bro. But like, yeah, congratulations. This is boring to me at this point. Like, shooting down people's limiting beliefs is almost just boring sometimes to me now, because it's just like, you're wrong. Like, I've never met anyone that was correct. You think you're being realistic, but you're not. You're being negative. A book on this is You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought, and it literally talks about this. It says, when most people think they're being realistic, you're actually just being negative as fuck. You're full of limiting beliefs. You're not trying. You're not having an open mind. You're being extremely judgmental about yourself, about the situation, about what's possible. You have no idea what's possible till you try. People, like, a really good example of this is Elon Musk. He did an interview where he was crying. He literally said he reached out to NASA in the early days of SpaceX, and they told him, what you're doing is not realistic. And it broke his fucking heart, because he's like, these are the people that I've respected and looked up to all my life. And he literally cries in this interview. And he's like, yeah, it broke me. It really broke me that my mentor, like the people I loved and respected, told me what I was doing was unrealistic. Who was fucking right? Elon Musk or the people shitting on his dreams? So whenever someone tells you something isn't realistic or isn't possible, fucking move past that. And when you hear that voice in your brain that says, I got to be realistic, what you're saying is, I'm choosing to be limited. And that's okay. If you want to start with $1,000, like, go for that, bro. That's amazing. But don't sell yourself the lie that's the limit. It's not. Like, if that's what you say, I want to work towards, if you say, I want to work towards $1,000, now we're taking ownership. But that's not a statement of limit. That's you saying, this is what I want to start with. So start with that, bro. That's amazing. Good. But you don't know what's realistic. Nobody does. Like, there is no limits to humanity, to consciousness. It is like infinitely improvable. It's just that we often limit ourselves and we don't fucking try. So maybe I'll end on that. I'm tired. I appreciate all of you a lot. I might have been a little blunt with some of you there, but I think I'm just a little bit tired. I appreciate all of you, if that's not clear. I appreciate all of you being here. You're all doing a good job. And some of the people there that I was a little bit blunt with, like Phoenix and Mortis, I promise you guys, I got lots of love for you. I'm just a little bit like tired today, and so I don't have a huge ton of patience, or I have chosen to be a little bit more blunt rather than being more patient. I think I'd phrase it like that. But I got love for both of you. You're both doing a good job. I understand how it feels to be limited and think that you can't achieve something and think that you're being realistic. Like, I get it, dude. Guys, I've been there. You have no idea how many times I was like, it's not realistic for me to like build a business. I literally thought it was unrealistic for me to earn $1 from my website. I thought it was unrealistic to get 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Like, literally, I literally said statements to people that I probably can go and find screenshots where I was like, it's unrealistic to think that I could earn more than $1,000 when YouTube's already really, sorry, it's unrealistic to think I could have more than 1,000 subscribers when YouTube's already really saturated. It's unrealistic to think I could make any money from being a dating coach when the world's all politically correct and feminism and, you know, people tiptoeing and COVID and lockdowns and all of that. Like, I just had so many things in my head where I was like, it's unrealistic. I'm just being realistic. And I was convinced that I was being realistic. I thought I was being realistic by saying I can never charge more than, I literally had a barrier at $40 an hour. I was like, you can't earn more than $40 an hour because everyone who earns more than that is like a doctor or a lawyer, and I don't have a degree. And so I'm just being realistic. I'm just being realistic that $40 is my limit. And I sat there for a while. I was so scared to put my price up, and I thought I was realistic. I was full of shit. So yeah, you both go on to say, Mortis, I get it, Andy. I know you guys do. I just try my best to be like unconditionally loving to all of you. And sometimes like I hear the same things over and over and over again. And so if I ever am a little blunt, it's because I've heard it like literally thousands of times at this point. And like every single time without fail, the person was wrong. Like your limiting beliefs are just always wrong. Like you can just say that. Buddhism says all fear is an illusion. And I'm really starting to believe that. So yeah, but we got love for each other. You're all doing a great job. All right. I will run the outro and I will see you all tomorrow. And I'm going to go coach my people. I'm going to go coach my coaching clients. And you're all great. I appreciate you all being here. If you've been wanting an amazing, awesome, elite sex life, tons of threesomes, plenty of wild adventures, and great memories with awesome people, we would love to help you get there. Here's just a little bit of what our coaching clients have achieved in their time in the program. Renee had a threesome in just his second week of coaching, had a woman write him a love letter, and he went on to have sex with 12 women in just 12 weeks of coaching. Corky had his first threesome, slept with 7 amazing women, and made a ton of awesome memories with them. George and Power both had sex with 10 women each in their 12 weeks, had a bunch of wild adventures along the way. Join me and join them by clicking the coaching link in the description below.